Good afternoon, students. In last class, I was telling about Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. In this experiment, a source of alpha particles, a radioactive sample, a sample which produces alpha particles, is placed in the lead cavity. It is placed in the lead cavity, and the radiations which are emitted from this source, they are allowed to pass through the lead bricks. They are allowed to pass through the lead slits, not bricks, lead slits, a pair of lead slits. So now these alpha radiations, they are collimated into a narrow beam. They are arranged like a single line of many number of radiations, and this beam of alpha radiation, beam of alpha rays, now they are passed towards the gold foil. This gold foil is the one which is having a thickness of 0.21 micrometer. Its thickness is 0.21 micrometer, and the energy of alpha rays is 5 mega electron volt. The energy of alpha rays is equals to 5 mega electron volt, and see, after when this beam of alpha rays hits the gold foil surface, the alpha radiations, the alpha rays are scattered in different directions with an angle of scattering, with different angle of scattering. Here, see, you can see most of the radiations, they pass through the zinc sulfide screen. What is the name of the screen? Zinc sulfide screen. Zinc sulfide screen. See, undeviated. Most of the alpha rays, they pass straightly. They pass in the straight direction without any change in their direction. So it means without causing scattering. So without any deflection. So most of the radiation, they pass directly through the gold foil. What it means? What it is meaning? See, they might have traveled. See, what is the reason of scattering? Or what is the reason of this one? See here two rays. This is one ray which is exactly reversed in its direction, and this is another ray which is scattered in a backward direction. This is forward direction, and this one is backward direction. Here the reason is here gold foil. This gold foil is having in this region there are atoms of the gold foil. So this is the gold foil, and here are the atoms of the gold foil. Atoms of the gold foil are having nuclei. They are having the nucleus. An atom is having one nucleus, and this is the alpha particle. This is the beam of. These are the alpha particles. Imagine these are the alpha particles. Alpha rays. Alpha rays. So the alpha ray, the one alpha ray which comes directly towards the center of the nucleus, which is coming towards the center of the nucleus, it gets reversed in its direction. It retraces its direction. It gets reversed in its direction. The reason is here alpha ray is positively charged particle. Alpha ray is positively charged particle, and a nucleus of the gold foil, it is also, nucleus means positively charged particle. Alpha ray is positively charged particle, gold nucleus. The nucleus of gold foil, they are also positively charged particle. So the alpha ray which comes directly towards the nucleus of the gold foil, it gets retraced, it gets returned in its original path. The reason is this is also positively charged particle, and alpha ray is also positively charged particle. So there exists a strong force of repulsion for the alpha ray which is coming towards the nucleus of the gold foil. So for this reason, here 1 in 8,000 it gets retraced in its original path. And see here, this ray is having force of repulsion, but not that much of this ray. So it is also experiencing a force of repulsion. Therefore, it also returns in its original path, in backward Here see these are not showing any change in their directions. Reason is, see here, these are the rays which travels away from the nucleus. This is the alpha ray which is traveling away from the nucleus. The rays which travels away from the nucleus passes undeviated. Passes undeviated. So this is the ray which is away from the nucleus. So this is the ray which is just near the nucleus. So it causes deflection, scattering. It gets scattered. It gets scattered with different directions. So here see, this is the one which is just near the nucleus. So it causes deflection like this. So this is the one which is exactly near to the nucleus. So it may get scattered like this. So here the rays which are moving exactly towards the nucleus of the gold foil, they retraces their path. So for this reason here we are having one ray in the 8000 rays that is coming back in its original direction. So and remaining rays, some are scattered with large angles, some are scattered with zero angles, some are scattered with minimum angles. So here see what we can write the conclusion. First conclusion is most of the space in an atom is empty. Most of the space in an atom is empty. So here see how we can tell most of the space in an atom is empty, because most of the rays they resulted in a zero scattering. Most of the rays they passed through the gold foil without any change in their direction. Straightly they might have been traveled away from the nucleus in an atom. If this is the atom, the central part is the nucleus. If the alpha particle travels directly towards the nucleus, then only there is a force of repulsion acting for these particles. If it travels away from the nucleus, then there is no force of repulsion, and these travels in straight line direction, right? So here also the rays which are traveling away from the nucleus, they results in zero scattering. So what it indicates, most of the space in an atom is empty space. Second point, most of the space in an atom is empty space. Second point, entire mass and charge, entire mass and positive charge, entire mass and positive charge of an atom, entire mass and positive charge of an atom is stored in the nucleus. So here the complete mass and the complete charge of an atom, they are present in the nucleus. This is the second point. So because here the rays are experiencing a force only when they travel near to the nucleus. So what you can think, a charge is present only in the nucleus, not anywhere else of the nucleus, not outside of the nucleus or beside of the nucleus or away from the nucleus. There is no charge or there is no mass of the atom. They are present only in the nucleus. So third point, what is the third point here? A ray which retraces its original path, a ray which retraces its original path, it is due to the ray which retraces its original path, it is due to Is due to, we can write is due to. Why it is coming back? It is due to force of repulsion. Force of repulsion. It is due to force of repulsion. Force of repulsion acting between. Yes, the other way is the force of repulsion. Force of repulsion acting between nucleus and alpha particle. Nucleus and alpha ray. Nucleus and alpha ray. Here the particle which retraces its original path, it is due to force of repulsion acting between nucleus and alpha ray. Nucleus and alpha ray. These are the three important conclusions of alpha scattering experiment. Alpha scattering experiment, right? So here, yes, what is the first one? Most of the space, maximum space in an atom is empty space. It is empty. It is not having any part in an atom. Only nucleus is present in an atom, and nucleus is the center part of the atom. Entire mass and entire charge of an atom, they are stored in the nucleus. And the ray which gets returned in its original direction, original path, it is due to force of repulsion acting between nucleus and alpha ray. Nucleus and alpha ray. These are the experimental conclusions of Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. Next one, Rutherford's atom model. I want to tell about Rutherford's atom model. This is the second atom model. The first one is Thomson atom model, and here the second one, Rutherford's atom model. Based on the experiment of alpha scattering, Rutherford suggested some postulates for structure of an atom. The first postulate is, see what is it? In an atom, electrons are revolving around the nucleus in some circular orbits. In an atom, in one atom, how many electrons are there? That total number of electrons they found revolving around the nucleus. See, if this is an atom, and this is the nucleus, around the nucleus there are some circular orbits are there. So here electrons are found revolving. Electrons are found revolving around the nucleus in some circular orbits with the help of centripetal force. And this centripetal force is provided. To the electrons by the. This centripetal force is provided to the electrons by the gravitational force. By the not the gravitational force. Here first point here all the electrons are revolving around the nucleus with the help of centripetal force. In this case, in case of an atom, centripetal force is provided by the electrostatic force of attraction present between positively charged nucleus and negatively charged electrons. So what I am telling is, all electrons nucleus na sutta ive with the help of centripetal force. And who is giving that centripetal force? That centripetal force is obtained by the electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction present between positively charged nucleus and negatively charged electron. Positive and negative ಯಾವ force ಇರ್ತದೆ? Attractive force ಇರ್ತದೆ. Electrostatic force of attraction ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಪಿಟಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. With the help of that centripetal force, all the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. This was the first postulate of Rutherford's atom model. And second postulate ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ features. Postulates ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Postulates are what are the highlights of that model? Highlights. Postulates means highlights, important highlights of that model. Postulates of Rutherford's atom model. First postulate kalta hai. Second postulate ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರೆ the dimensions of nucleus and the atom are very much different. They are this model Rutherford explained what is the size of an atom and what is the size of the nucleus and what is the comparison between atom and the nucleus. So here size of the nucleus, size of the nucleus is equals to 10 to the power of minus 15 meter, whereas size of the atom is equals to 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. So what is the difference here? Atom is about 1 lakh times greater in size compared to the nucleus. So you just think how smaller the nucleus is in an atom. What is the size? According to this model, what is the size of the nucleus? 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. And what is the size of the atom? 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. So what is the difference? See, therefore an atom is 10 to the power of 5 times. 10 to the power of 5 times bigger in size. 10 to the power of 5 times bigger in size. So it means 1 lakh times. 1 lakh times bigger in size. So it gives an idea about nucleus, how smaller the nucleus in an atom. So nucleus is about 1 lakh times smaller than the atom. On the atom nalli nucleus ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, if suppose this is the atom, nucleus is the small point in that atom. In this classroom, that middle fan is the nucleus. That middle fan, not this one, that middle fan is the nucleus of an atom. If this classroom is supposed to be an atom, that middle small point, fan point, that is the nucleus. So nucleus is about 1 lakh times smaller in size compared to the atom, or atom is 1 lakh times bigger in size compared to the nucleus. Okay, this is the second postulate. Third postulate. See a third postulate, what we can say here? Third postulate is an atom is consisting of two parts. One is nuclear part and extranuclear part. Atom consists of two parts. One is nuclear part and another one is extranuclear part. Nuclear part and extranuclear part. Nuclear part and extranuclear part. So here what is there in nuclear part? In nuclear part, nucleus is present. And extranuclear part, electrons are present. And nucleus is a positively charged body. And electrons are the negatively charged body. Nucleus is a positively charged body and electrons are a negatively charged particles. And see here, the number of electrons in an atom are equal to number of protons. So that is why an atom is said to be electrically neutral. Atom, because here the total number of protons is equals to number of proton number is equals to electron number. Proton number is equals to electron number. Proton number is equals to electron number. So this is why we say an atom is electrically neutral. These are the some postulates of Rutherford's atom model. Then why it is failed? Now the question arises, why it is failed? See here, if in an atom, what it said, what the model is saying, in this atom, all the electrons are revolving around the nucleus, just like the planets around the solar system. See, planet around the sun in the solar system. ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಸುತ್ತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರಹಗಳು ಸುತ್ತುತ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆಟಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ನ ಸುತ್ತ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಗಳು ಸುತ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ. So here electrons are revolving around the nucleus like the planets around the sun in solar system. If the electrons are revolving around the nucleus with the help of centripetal force means continuously they are losing their energy. So if a body is revolving in a circular path, if it is revolving in a circular path means here one thing is, one information is that a body which rotates or a body which moves in a circular path continuously means that the body must emit radiations, electromagnetic radiations. And one more thing, with respect to the time, the body loses its energy, and finally the electron, it falls into the nucleus. It falls into the nucleus, thereby the atom is not stable. Thereby the atom, it gets explodes, because electron is negatively charged and nucleus is positively charged. So there exists a force of attraction, but still they are revolving around the nucleus. So according to this model, if the electron continues to be, if the electron is continuously revolving and emitting the radiations, emitting the energy means it is going to lose energy. If I am rotating in this circular path and I am losing my energy means after loss of my complete energy, definitely I will fall into the middle point or middle part of the atom. So here also the electrons, if they it explained, this model explained electrons while revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits, they are giving out electromagnetic radiations. So if an electron gives out electromagnetic radiations, if it is emitting electromagnetic radiations means it loses its energy. So when it loses its energy, it is going to fall into the nucleus. So thereby atom is not exist. It will not exist. Atom is going to be exploded. So thereby it fails to, this model, Rutherford's atom model, it fails to explain stability of an atom, stable state of an atom, stability of an atom. Here stability means existence of an atom. So here according to Rutherford's atom model, atom is not going to be stable. It becomes unstable because finally the electron loses all its energy and falls into the nucleus, and thereby atom is going to be unstable. So this model was rejected. This model was not approved up to the extent. So first model, Thomson model also rejected, and this second model was Rutherford's atom model. It also rejected. Next comes Bohr's atom model. Niels Bohr, the famous physicist, he made some modifications in the Rutherford's atom model and suggested another atom model called Bohr's atom model. That was widely accepted compared to Thomson and second one, Rutherford's atom model. It was somewhat, it explains in detail about structure of an atom. That model is, what is the name of the third model? Bohr's atom model. See, and now I am going to discuss about Bohr's atom model. This is the third atom model, and it was explained by Niels Bohr. So now I am going to tell you about postulates of Bohr's atom model. Postulates means positive information or highlights, or what we can think merits of that model. What are the merits? What are the positive points? What are the advantages of that model? So here first thing is this model is the modification of Rutherford's atom model. Rutherford's atom model, it said that An electron, while revolving in the circular orbit, it is continuously emitting electromagnetic radiations. It is continuously emitting the radiations and thereby losing its energy and becoming an unstable. It is falling into the nucleus and making an atom as an unstable atom. So here the first postulate it is the modified point of Rutherford's atom model. See here, an electron in an atom could revolve in the certain stable orbits. An electron it can revolve, it can move in some of the stable orbits of an atom without means without the emission of radiant energy, without emitting any electromagnetic radiations. So here what is the first point? Electrons in an atom, they revolves in some standard orbits, some stable orbits without the emission of any electromagnetic radiation, without giving any radiation, any type of alpha, beta, gamma, X-ray, gamma ray, microwave, visible light, ultraviolet light with photons. Photons here, energy means photons in case of an atom. So without giving any radiant energy, without emitting any radiation, without giving any energy, they are continuously revolving around the nucleus in some certain stable orbits. So therefore, as the electrons are not able to give the energy, give out the energy, emit the energy in these stable orbits, so these stable orbits are called stationary orbits. Stationary orbits. Stationary means standing at one point. Here stationary means not emitting the energy. They are unable to emit the energy. So they are called stationary orbits. Stationary orbits. So here an electron in an atom could revolve in a certain or stable orbits without the emission of radiant energy. Without here electron will not emit. It is not capable of emitting energy. Radiant energy means radiation. This radiant energy, radiation, it is not able to emit any kind of energy while revolving in the circular orbit. So therefore those circular orbits, in the stable orbits, those stable orbits are called stationary orbits. What is the second point? See, in an atom around the nucleus, where do you find electrons? In which orbit they are revolving? In first orbit, or in second orbit, in third orbit, in fourth orbit, or in fifth orbit, sixth, seventh, eighth? Where you find the electrons? How to tell electrons are revolving in such orbit, in fixed this orbit? So here the postulate here Bohr said that the electron revolves around the nucleus only in those orbits for which the angular momentum is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So see here atom models, this Bohr's atom model, it was suggested for hydrogen atom, not for any other atoms. Hydrogen atom means this is the simplest atom of all the elements. Among the elements, it is the simplest atom of the element. So it is consisting of one electron and one proton. So here see 1h1. 1h1 is the symbol of hydrogen. So these atom models, Rutherford as well as Bohr's model, they were explained only for hydrogen atom, not for any other atoms. You cannot think for helium, you cannot think for carbon, you cannot think for oxygen like that. So this atom model, it is explained only for the simplest type of atom, that is hydrogen atom, which is consisting of one proton and one electron. So here see second point, where we can find the flow of electrons, in which orbit, in which orbit, where the condition, where the angular momentum is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. In which orbit the condition for angular momentum of an electron, angular momentum value h by integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Integral multiple of n h by 2 pi. Where, so which orbit satisfies this condition? L is angular momentum. formula for angular momentum is mvr. Here m is mass of an electron, vn is velocity of an electron in nth orbit. Velocity of an electron in nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Rn is radius of the nth orbit of hydrogen atom. So L equals to what we can write? mvr. Here v is vn, r is rn. R to the base n, v to the base n equals to nh by 2 pi. nh by 2 pi, where n is the principal quantum number. Here n is number of orbit. n ಏನಂತ ಕರಿಬೇಕು? n is called principal quantum number. n is called principal quantum number. Principal quantity. Its value is 1, 2, 3, 4 up to nth orbit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either value 0 iralla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values irutte. Next becomes h is Planck's constant. You know the value of h, 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second. Pi is 3.142 ಅಥವಾ 22/7. Here pi is a constant term. 22/7 or 3.142, right? So in which orbit this condition for electron is satisfied, there you can think of electrons, presence of electrons. So here the second postulate is an electron. Why we are not taking electrons? Because this model explains structure of hydrogen atom. This model is suggested only for hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom is having only one electron. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಈಗ the electron, an electron ಅಂತ electrons ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಹುದು, right? Electrons ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. The electron revolves around the nucleus only in those orbits for which the angular momentum ಅನ್ನೋ product of mass, velocity and radius, for which the angular momentum of an electron is equal to electron ಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು angular momentum ಈ nh by 2 pi ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅದು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತಿರುಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು? ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿವಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್. Where it is revolving? Where the angular momentum of an electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So here the condition is L equals to m. L is mvr. Formula for angular momentum, symbol of angular momentum L. This formula is mvr. So here vn, velocity of the electron. If it is in electron, its velocity is vn. Radius of nth orbit rn equals to nh by 2 pi. Third point. An electron emits energy when it jumps from higher energy level to the lower energy level. Here energy emitted is photon, whose energy is equal to EI minus EF. So the frequency of emitted photon is nu equals to EI minus EF. So imagine here, this is the orbit, this is the atom, these are the orbits. So I want to draw it in bigger size. So here this is an atom, these are the orbits. This is the nucleus. See here, third postulate is when an electron emits energy, when it is emitting energy, first point, it is not emitting energy when it is revolving in the stable orbits ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ತಿರುಗುವಾಗ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅದು ಹೈಯರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇಂದ ಲೋವರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೈಯರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇಂದ ಲೋವರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ energy is emitted, and that emitted energy is a photon in the form of photon, and its energy is equals to EI minus EF, where EI is energy of initial orbit, and EF energy of final orbit. EI minus EF, and frequency of the emitted photon is nu equals to EI minus EF by H. So here see, slightly we can change this one as E2 minus E1. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ electron ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ, here is the electron, this is the electron. So ಇದೇನಪ್ಪ, ಇದು higher energy level, ಇದೇನಂತ higher energy level, this is higher energy level. Higher energy level and this is lower energy level. Lower energy level, lower energy level, right? Higher energy level adu ee kedagade irodu lower energy level foods. See here what I am telling is, here third point, an electron emits energy when it jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level. When the electron jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level, it is emitting energy, and that emitted energy is in the form of photon. Energy how tara irtada, it will be in the form of photon. So here energy of the emitted photon, see here energy is emitted and electron is jumped from this energy level to this energy level. So its energy minus its energy, the difference in energy of higher energy level to the lower energy level is stored as energy of this radiation, this photon, this energy. Photon is the energy emitted by the electron, and these photons are having the energy equal to EI minus EF. Here EI is energy of initial orbit where the electron is present. Where it is present? Higher energy level. Illittu. So EF final ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು. So ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು E2 minus E1 ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು. The energy of the photon is equals to E2 minus E1, where E2 is energy of higher orbit, energy of higher orbit, E1 is energy of lower orbit, energy of lower orbit. So next ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು frequency ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು nu equals to EI minus EF by H ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ EI ಅಂದ್ರೆ E2 minus EF ಅಂದ್ರೆ E1 by H ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು. So frequency is energy of the photon is E equals to E2 minus E1. Frequency is nu equals to E2 minus E1 by H. Yes, what is the third point? Here electron emits energy. See, electron is not emitting energy while it is revolving in the stable orbits. When it is emitting energy, when it jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level, then only it is emitting the energy. Thus emitted energy is a photon, and this photon is having energy equal to energy of higher orbit and minus energy of lower orbit. That is EI minus EF andre E2 minus E1. ಇಲ್ಲಿ EI ಅನ್ನೋದು higher orbit energy, energy of initial orbit, energy of initial orbit, energy of final orbit. Where is the electron present? From where it is jumping? Higher orbit to lower orbit. So EI stands for E2, higher energy level. EF stands for E1, E2 minus E1 other energy. And frequency is nu equals to EI minus EF by H ಅಂತ ಬರೀತಾರ, where H is Planck's constant. So E2 minus E1 by H. These are the three important postulates of Bose atom model. So this Bose atom model is the modification of Rutherford's atom model. Here there are three postulates are given. First postulate tells you about while an electron while revolving around the nucleus, it is not giving any energy in the orbits, in the stable orbits. Therefore those stable orbits are called stationary orbits. Stationary means they are not able to give the energy. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟುಲೇಟ್ ಏನಂತ, an electron is found revolving only in those orbit where the angular momentum of an electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. That is L equals to mvnrn equals to nh by 2 pi. Third point, an electron emits energy when it jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level. So this is the diagram of an atom, and these are the energy levels. These are the first energy level. First energy n equals to 1. N is principal quantum number. Here second energy level n equals to 2. Third energy level n equals to 3. Fourth energy level n equals to 4. Right? First energy level is called ground state. First energy level is called ground state. Ground state. N equals to 1 ಅಂದ್ರೆ first energy level ನಾವು ground state ಅಂತ ಕರೀಬೇಕು. And one more here n equals to 2, n equals to 3, n equals to 4. These are called excited states. Excited energy levels. Excited states. Excited states. Ground state, excited state. So what is the value of n for ground state? N equals to 1. What is the value of n for excited states? N equals to 2, n equals to 3 and n equals to 4. See, now let me discuss about expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom where the electron is revolving. Suppose the electron is revolving in nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Here S stands for hydrogen atom. As I told you, these models specially designed for hydrogen atom. They explains the structure of only hydrogen atom. So now I am discussing expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom. So this is the hydrogen atom and this is nth orbit and this is the nucleus. Here electron, see this is radius, distance of the nucleus to the orbit. Nth orbit is Rn. Radius of nth orbit Rn. So it is moving with, this is the electron, it is moving with a speed Vn, velocity Vn. Velocity of an electron in nth orbit is Vn. Vn. Consider first what we shall take is consider an electron. Consider an electron revolving in nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Let Rn is radius of nth orbit. Radius of nth orbit. Radius of nth orbit. Vn is velocity of an electron. Velocity of an electron in nth orbit. Velocity of an electron in nth orbit. Vn. Vn is velocity of an electron in nth orbit. And you know that Ze it is taken as charge of the nucleus. Ze is charge of the nucleus. Charge of the nucleus. Here Ze is taken as a charge of the nucleus, right? Because Z is the number of protons. Z is protons. Ze stands for total number of protons charged. So here nucleus charge means it is a charge of all the protons present in the nucleus. So Ze means charge of protons. Ze means charge. Z means protons. Charge of all the protons is charge of the nucleus. Charge of the nucleus. So the expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom, it is calculated by using Bohr's atom model from Bohr's atom model. From Bohr's atom model. See here Bohr's atom model. In Bohr's atom model we can also first postulate that is an electron around the nucleus in an atom is revolving without emitting any radiant energy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. So what it means, it is revolving around the nucleus. It is revolving around the nucleus with the help of centripetal force. That centripetal force is provided by, as I explained you, that centripetal force required for the movement of electron around the nucleus, it is given by the electrostatic force of attraction between nucleus and the electron. Electrostatic force of attraction present between positively charged nucleus and negatively charged electron. So here from what we can write from first postulate of Bohr's model. From first postulate of Bohr's atom model. What you can write? You can write Fe equals to Fc. See here, Fe is electrostatic force. As I told you, centripetal force is given by electrostatic force of attraction between nucleus and electron. Fc centripetal force. So Fe ಏನು ಬರೆಯಬೇಕು? Fe ಅಂದ್ರೆ Coulomb's law ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. To find the electric force, we go for using Coulomb's law. So here that electrostatic force between electron and nucleus, it obeys Coulomb's law. So Coulomb's law is 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Q1 Q2 by R square. So here 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 is charge of the nucleus, Ze. Charge of the nucleus is Ze into E. Here E is charge of an electron. Don't take negative sign in the derivation. Charge of an electron is negative, but you should take positive sign only. Ze into E divided by Rn square, where Rn is the distance of the electron from the nucleus, that is indirect radius of the nth orbit. Rn is Rn square, distance 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Q1 Q2 by R square, Rn square, equals to expression for centripetal force is mvn square divided by Rn. mv square by R. Expression for centripetal force in bardala mv square by R barutte. So that is mvn square by Rn. So next comes 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Z E square by Rn square equals to mv square n divided by Rn. Cross multiplication ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ Rn ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ತದೆ Z E square by 4 pi epsilon into Rn square into Rn. ಇದನ್ನ ಈ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಂಬನ್ನಿ. Cross multiplication equals to mv square n equals to mv square. ಈ ಒಂದು Rn ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು Rn ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗಿ, so I am writing mv square first. mv square n equals to Z E square divided by 4 pi epsilon Rn. So now I want to bring this Rn towards this mv square. ಅಥವಾ ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬಹುದು, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್, ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು ಅದೇ ಥರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಇದನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಬಂದು mv square n Rn ಇದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು equals to Z E square by 4 pi epsilon. So see here, you can write separately first Fe equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Ze. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. Fe ಇದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ, Fc ಇದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. So from both first postulate ಇಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So this is equation number 1. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ನಾನು 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Ze into E divided by Rn square. ಇದು Fe ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ. Fc ಗೆ mv square by R ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ nth ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ. nth orbital v and vn, r and rn, right? v and vn, r and rn. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ from second postulate of Bohr's atom model, from second postulate of Bohr's atom model, from second postulate of Bohr's atom model. So second postulate ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ, the electron is revolving only in those orbit where angular momentum is equals to integral multiple of h by 2 by ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಿಲ್ಲ, that is m vn rn. angular momentum ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, mvr, mvn rn equals to nh by 2 pi. This is the formula that we get from second postulate of Bohr's atom model. So this is see now vn, you separate vn from this formula. vn equals to nh by 2 pi, nh by 2 pi into 1 by m r n. ಇಲ್ಲಿ vn ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, vn iko mr ಅನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿದೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ, nh by 2 pi into 1 by mrn. So here see, is there anything cancelling here? Nothing gets cancels. So vn equals to vn equals to nh by 2 pi mrn. ಇದರ ಬಂತು, ಇದು vn expression for velocity. So ಇದನ್ನ equation 1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Substitute the value of Vn in equation number 1. Substitute the value of Vn in equation number 1. Substitute, put Vn in 1. Equation number 1. ಇದರಲ್ಲ m into ನೋಡ್ರಿ Vn square ಆಗ್ತದೆ, m into Vn square. Vn ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ nh by 2 pi mrn, nh by 2 pi mrn, nh by 2 pi mrn whole square, this square is square, into rn equals to z square by 4 pi epsilon, z square by 4 pi epsilon ಅಂತ ಬಂತು. m into n square h square, n square h square by 4, 2 square 4 pi square m square, rn square equals to rn square into rn, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬೇಕು, into rn equals to ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ z square by 4 pi epsilon, z square by 4 pi epsilon. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ m ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು m ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ rn ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು rn ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗೋಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಉಳಿದೀಗ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ n square h square divided by n square h square divided by 4 pi square m rn equals to 4 pi square m rn equals to z square by 4 pi epsilon. z square by 4 pi epsilon, right? ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು, ಫೈನಲ್ ಆಗಿ rn ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಿ, rn ಅನ್ನು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ. n square h square by 4 pi square m, rn ಅನ್ನು ಆ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಣ, ಇಂಟು ಇದು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟು ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ನ್ಯೂಮರೇಟರ್ ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ, ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ನ್ಯೂಮರೇಟರ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, z square equals to ಇದು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ rn ಇರುತ್ತೆ, rn. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಈಗ ಏನೇನು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ, 1 4 ಇದು 4, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪೈ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪೈ, ಇದು m ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗಿ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ 4 pi ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ 4 pi ಎಪ್ಸಿಲಾನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, 4 pi ಎಪ್ಸಿಲಾನ್ ಇದೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, 4 pi ಎಪ್ಸಿಲಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ n square h square n square h square epsilon divided by pi m z e square. Pi m z e square equals to Rn. Therefore, expression for radius of nth orbit. Radius of nth orbit is n square h square epsilon divided by pi m z e square. This is the expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Yes, what is the expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom? What final formula you got? N square h square epsilon naught divided by pi m z e square. Pi m z e square, right? So first now consider an electron is revolving in nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom na nth orbit nalli tirugta ide. Let Vn is the velocity of the electron in nth orbit. Rn is the radius of the nth orbit of hydrogen atom, right? Ze ಅನ್ನೋದು charge of the nucleus. Here Z means protons, E means charge. Protonಗಳ charge nucleus na charge. Therefore, charge of the nucleus is Ze. Charge of the nucleus is Ze. First thing, from Bohr's first postulate, here electrostatic force is equal to centripetal force. So what is the formula for electrostatic force? One Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law na use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. 1 by 4 pi epsilon into q1 q2 by r square. 1 by 4 pi epsilon into q1 is the charge of the nucleus. q2 is the charge of the electron. Charge of the nucleus is Ze. Charge of the electron is E. Ze into E is Ze square divided by Rn square equals to centripetal force is mv square by r. mvn square by Rn. So from first postulate Fe equals to Fc. So now ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Fe equals to Fc ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನ್ನ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ mvr ಆ ತರ ಬರೋ ತರ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ತಂದುಕೊಂಡು ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1 ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟುಲೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ Bohr's atom model. What is the second postulate? Integral angular momentum of an electron is equals to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. mvn rn equals to nh by 2 pi. So here vn equals to nh by 2 pi into 1 by mrn. So vn equals to nh by 2 by mrn, right? vn equals to nh by 2 by mrn ಅಂತ ಬಂತು. ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ 1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ mv ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ rn equals to z ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ 4 pi epsilon ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ. vn ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ nh by 2 by mrn whole square into rn equals to z square by 4 pi epsilon. So here m as it is whole square n square h square by 2 square is 4 pi square m square rn square into rn equals to z square by 4 pi epsilon, right? So next can rn ಇನ್ನೊಂದು rn cancel ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. n square ಇಲ್ಲಿ m ಒಂದು cancel ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು m ಉಳಿದಿದೆ. n square h square by 4 pi square m rn equals to z square by 4 pi epsilon. So n square h square by 4 pi square m ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ r n ಈ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ರಿ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ರಿ, ಇದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಇದು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. So n square h square into 4 pi epsilon divided by 4 pi square m into z square. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 cancels, pi ಇಲ್ಲಿ pi square and pi cancel ಆಯಿತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಯ್ತು? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಉಳಿತು? n square h square epsilon by pi m z square equals to rn. This is the expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom. Radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom is given as n square h square epsilon by pi m z square.